What's up everybody, this is Rockaby and we're doing yet another SUPERCAR test. Alright, with the last one, I'll admit, taxiing was a top speed focused track. So this time we're going to be going to 4 different tracks. We're going to take the results from taxiing, which is all about top speed and acceleration. We're going to pair it with my Bristol track, which is about curb boosting and smooth cornering. And then we're going to go down to Bruffy's area with cutting corners GP, and that is the toughest track I've ever been at. You are constantly battling grip issues. We're going to finish off with FR Player 1's Cuba circuit, which is everything. It's got top speed, acceleration, low speed cornering, high speed cornering, curb boosting. We're going to take all these tracks, we're going to give them a score. Each car can earn up to 100 points per track. First place will get 100, last place will get 10. Everyone else will get a score based on the time that they get, not the position, but the time. Alright guys, so this is going to be a lot of information in a really short amount of time. Hang tight through the video, we'll recap it at the end, and we'll see you there. Alright. And last place goes to the only electric supercar, the Voltic, with 93 points. The Voltic came in last at taxiing and at Bristol, second to last at Tsukuba, and 23rd at cutting corners. The Voltic has a slow acceleration and by far the slowest top speed of any supercar. The more speed dependent a track was, the worse the Voltic did. The Voltic did better on the more technical tracks, beating out other cars in the corners. 25th is the Bullet with 97 points. The Bullet came in last at cutting corners and Tsukuba, 25th at Bristol, and 23rd at taxiing. The Bullet has a higher top speed that pulls it out of last place overall, but on any technical track it immediately loses grip and gets loose in every corner, making it very close to being the last place car on this list. In 24th is the Sultan RS with 178 points, making a huge jump in scores over the Bullet. The Sultan did best on the technical tracks, earning a 21st at cutting corners and 22nd at Tsukuba. At Bristol it earned 23rd and placed 25th at taxiing due to its overall low top speed. The Sultan battled unpredictable grip at times, being tight in a corner and immediately breaking loose if you took the corner just a bit too fast. 23rd place belongs to the Adder with 182 points. The Adder did really well at taxiing, coming in 15th place, but as many comments pointed out in my previous supercar video, the Adder did much worse at the technical tracks, earning 24th at Bristol and Tsukuba and 25th at cutting corners. The Adder has a pretty good top speed, but it has a very hard time turning in even the simplest corners, losing a lot of time to its competitors. 22nd is the Infernus with 207 points. The Infernus did surprisingly well at Tsukuba, reaching 14th place, but a 19th place at Bristol and 24th at taxiing and cutting corners knocked it outside the top 20. The Infernus battles with grip through the corners and gets very loose on corner entry, so you have to be very careful going into any turn so you don't spin it out, and that hurts the overall cornering time. Coming up in 21st is the Vaca with 215 points. The Vaca was very consistent, earning 20th place at cutting corners and Bristol, 21st at Tsukuba, and 22nd at taxiing. The Vaca kept a decent amount of grip and inspired confidence around the corners, but its overall top speed and acceleration never helped lift it into the top 20. First car in the top 20 is the Banshee 900R with 234 points. The Banshee did amazing at taxiing, coming in 7th, but managed only a lackluster 17th at Bristol and followed it up with bottom 5 results at cutting corners and Tsukuba. The Banshee's top speed made it a great choice for races like long haul, but in the corners it is very loose and is hard to get the grip down, making it a bad choice for the technical tracks. 19th in this list is the Cheetah with 239 points. The Cheetah got 17th on Tsukuba, 19th on cutting corners, 20th on taxiing, and 22nd at Bristol. The Cheetah has decent handling in the turns, but overall its top speed is pretty low and there are better options to choose to fill your high grip, low speed supercar needs. In 18th is the Benny's Italy GTB, or known as the Italy GTB Custom. The GTB Custom got 264 points overall, with strong showings of 8th at Taxiing and 11th at Bristol, but followed it up with an 18th place at Cutting Corners and a 20th at Tsukuba. The GTB Custom is fast, but has no grip and breaks loose on almost every turn due to the Benny's upgrade, removing its downforce multiplier and replacing it with a spoiler, which loses grip. Taking 17th on the list with 267 points is the Penetrator. The Penetrator did really well at Bristol, coming in 8th, and followed it up with a 14th at Cutting Corners, an 18th at Tsukuba, and a 19th at Taxiing. There's not really much for me to say here. The car does nothing to wow me or to frustrate me. It needs more speed, but it has a reasonable amount of grip for the technical tracks. In 16th is the 811 with 268 points. Another car that had high speed bias, the 811 took 3rd at Taxiing, but fared much worse at the other tracks, with a 16th place finish at Cutting Corners, 18th at Bristol, and 19th at Tsukuba. However, I would recommend keeping this car in your arsenal if you ever have drag races with friends, but leave it in the garage whenever you go to a track with a lot of turns. 15th position goes to the Reaper with 277 points. The Reaper did well at Tsukuba, coming in 10th, and got 14th at Taxiing, 15th at Cutting Corners, and 21st at Bristol. At Bristol, the Reaper had issues going into the corner. It was very loose going in, and then it would come out very tight. However, at the other tracks it felt really well, landing this car near the middle of the pack. The Turismo takes the 14th spot with 282 points. The Turismo did great at Cutting Corners, coming in 6th place, but a 14th at Bristol, 15th at Tsukuba, and a 21st at Taxiing brought the Turismo back down to the middle of the pack. The Turismo has outstanding grip and is a relatively inexpensive supercar, but like the Cheetah, its top speed keeps it out of being an all-around contender. Lucky 13th on the list is the Entity with 298 points, and that marks the fastest supercar to come out on the original GTA 5 release date. The Entity got 4th at Bristol, 11th at Tsukuba, 12th at Taxiing, and 17th at Cutting Corners. The Entity is an easy car to drive and has a decent top speed, making this a great all-around car, but there are newer cars that do all that and more. The standard Italy GTB takes 12th overall with 300 points. This version has not been upgraded at Benny's, so its downforce multiplier is still active, garnering 9th place finishes at Taxiing and Cutting Corners, 11th at Bristol, and 16th at Tsukuba. This version has similar speed to the Benny's version, but with a lot more grip, making this a much better choice if you want a GTB. In 11th is the Osiris with 303 points. The Osiris did very well at the most technical tracks, finishing 7th at Cutting Corners, 9th at Tsukuba, but it got 13th at Taxiing and 16th at Bristol. The Osiris is a solid choice for the very technical tracks, whether on the road or on stunt tracks, but the Osiris still can break loose if you take a corner too fast, so it's better to get in slow and get out fast. The Zentorno makes it into the top 10 with 307 points. The Zentorno did very well on the stunt tracks, coming in 7th at both Bristol and Tsukuba, but struggled on the road with the 12th at Cutting Corners and 18th at Taxiing. The Zentorno suffers from a lower top speed and can be a handful when driving into the corners at high speeds, but overall the Zentorno is not a bad choice. In 9th is the FMJ with 311 points. The FMJ did excellent at Taxiing, coming in 4th place, but followed it up with mediocre results at the other races, coming in 13th at each track. The FMJ really likes the open road where it can get up to speed and take its high-speed corners really well, but slow the FMJ down and its two-wheel drive system is likely to spin out either over the bumps or in the tight corners. And 8th place goes to the Tempesta with 315 points. The Tempesta did amazingly well at cutting corners, coming up in 2nd place, and it also finished well at Tsukuba in 8th, but it had 15th place at Bristol and a 17th place at Taxiing. The Tempesta doesn't have the best top speed, but it does have a lot of grip throughout all its speeds, so the more technical a course, the better the Tempesta will fare. 7th place goes to the T20 with 329 points. The T20 did its best at cutting corners with a 3rd place finish and got a 5th at Tsukuba, 6th at Bristol, and a lackluster 16th at Taxiing. The T20 doesn't have the best top speed overall, but it does have amazing acceleration and good cornering abilities, so it gets back to its top speed in a hurry, making up a lot of ground on its competition. The first cunning stunt car makes its appearance in 6th place with the ETR1 with 330 points. The ETR1 came in 4th at Tsukuba, 5th at Bristol, 8th at cutting corners, and 11th at Taxiing. Did anyone notice a trend there? It did much better at the stunt tracks. The ETR1 has amazing grip, especially on smooth track, but a low top speed keeps the ETR1 slightly out of the top 5. The Nero makes it into the top 5 with 335 points. Just a note, this is the non-Benny's version you see here. The Nero did really well at Tsukuba, coming in 3rd, and followed it up with a 6th place at Taxiing and dual 10th place finishes at Bristol and cutting corners. The Nero is fast, grippy, and a predictable all-wheel drive car, making this a great choice for nearly every race. The Benny's Nero takes 4th with 335 points. Yes, the Benny's Nero beat the original Nero by 3/10 of a point overall. This version I was able to get 4th at cutting corners, 5th at Taxiing, 6th at Tsukuba, and 9th at Bristol. So, whether you like the original Nero or you want to pay for the Benny's version, both will do you very well and behave very similarly. The X80 earns a bronze medal by coming in 3rd with 343 points. The X80 won the race at Taxiing and got a 2nd place finish at Bristol, but finished with an 11th at cutting corners and 12th at Tsukuba. The X80 is a very fast car with amazing acceleration, but the X80 has grip issues on the high-speed corners, causing it to do more poorly on the technical tracks. The Tyrus earns the silver medal by coming in 2nd with 355 points. The Tyrus won at Tsukuba and got 3rd at Bristol, 5th at cutting corners, and 10th at Taxiing. So like the ETR1, the Tyrus' strength came at the stunt tracks, and also like the ETR1, the Tyrus' top speed held it back on Taxiing. However, this car is great on any style technical track, low speed or high speed. So the RE7B won gold with an outstanding 398 points out of a possible 400. The RE7B medaled in every race with a 1st place finish at Bristol and cutting corners, and 2nd places at Taxiing and Tsukuba. The RE7B has so much grip that all its downfalls, being 2-wheel drive, having slow takeoff speed, and having mediocre high speed, all those are completely nullified by the sheer amount of grip this car has. Alright, I know that was a lot of information, so let me put up my spreadsheet so you can see all the results. Here's the overall results and points for each track. Next we'll put up the points and lap times for each track. Feel free to pause at any of these to really review my results. Some things to note, all the cars were fully upgraded in terms of turbos, engines, brakes, transmission spoilers, suspension, etc. etc. Most had high-end wheels, but none of the cars had the off-road wheels, which can make a difference in overall grip. I do have 4 supercar recommendations overall to give you. The first recommendation is the 811 if you race long-haul races or any sort of drag races. The 811's top speed peels away from the competition on those races, so keep that in mind. Next would be the Osiris or the T20 if you do a lot of wall ride or stunt tube racing. These cars grip so well to the tubes and the walls and can gain so much speed compared to their competition. I'd also recommend the RE7B, if you can handle it. I love the RE7B, but it's only two-wheel drive, so it's terrible for wall rides and tubes, it's easy to spin out at low speeds, and it has bad low-speed acceleration. But on any typical circuit, this car will blow away the competition. And last will be my best all-around recommendation, the Nero. It is fast, predictable, it's all-wheel drive, it's grippy, it just works so well on every track, and it's easier to learn than the RE7B. Feel free to upgrade it to Benny's if you want more style, or leave it alone if you're on a budget. Either way, this car rocks. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If any new supercars come up, keep a lookout in the description to see if I've reviewed them. I will leave links there when I do. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a like, share it out, and comment as it really helps me out. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.